like Fred, will you go back and grab that one sign, try to block that sun from my eyes? I'll tell you where it happens. Sun's blocking-
Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Stand here all night.
You gotta get that way. Now you're blocking the people coming in.
Like it's somehow it's.
Just stand there.
You gotta buy window blocks.
A little more. A little more.
It's a little like- almost like fuzzy.
There we go. I can handle that.
Oh,
Thank
now
you.
the door's blocked.
The door's blocked. I'll move back this way. See that? Hi, Bill.
Focusing? Oh, there you go. That's fine. That
I
looks
looked at it so long now, I actually have a blind spot.
How's that work?
Well, as long as Bill doesn't move, we're good.
The sun will be down in a couple hours.
I know.
Yeah.
We're out here in a couple hours.
Yeah, that was a good one. You know what you should do is do this in reverse and then all of us would be looking at the lake. you guys. This time of night.
Thank you.
It only happens a couple months out here.
Good, are you?
You still have me sit next to you.
Space on
Yeah,
that.
killed a bit. Something.
I'm so sorry. I did space on that.
Your bag.
That's good.
Well, the only thing we aren't.
He does it on his iPad.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
It's just, too many pages. Well.
That's all sales when he retired and replaced them as horrible. All the time now inspections. Are local. How much ever drive. You're comfortable. I know that's who wants to wait. I have no company with that. No problem at all.
Okay. Ordering on? Recording on?
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you.
It is Tuesday, August 2nd, 2022, 6:30 PM. I'll call this Oregon Town Board meeting to order at 1138 Union Road, Oregon, Wisconsin. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Kate Flatty.
Here.
Denise.
Here.
Carl Walter.
Here.
And Arlen County.
Here.
Thank you. Item 3, approval of last month's minutes.
Make a motion to approve last month's minutes.
Got a motion,
July
Fred.
7th.
Got a motion to approve the minutes from Fred. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second from Kate. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign, motion carries. Item 4, oath of office, A. Jennifer Hanson, Town Clerk. Get over here. Raise your right hand. I gotta raise mine. I, the undersigned, who have been appointed to the office of treasurer. No, I'm reading wrong. I understand who have been appointed to the office of clerk, Jennifer Hanson, in for the town of Oregon in said county, Dane County, but have not yet entered upon the duties thereof, swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and will faithfully discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability. So help me God. Thank you. Read that copy.
I'm so sorry.
I done. I'll read the top one. Jump over it. Raise your right hand. Understand who have been appointed to the office of Treasurer Deputy Clerk Stephanie Groff in the town of Oregon in said Dane County. I have not yet entered on the duties thereof sworn that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin and will faithfully discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability. So help me God. Thank you. Yes. You're up on top. Thank you. Okay, item 5, finance report and payment approval of vouchers.
I'll make a motion to approve the date of July 31st, 2020 treasury report and payment vouchers.
Got a motion, Fred, is there a second? A second. Got a motion, Fred, a second from Charles, any further discussion?
Just about that.
Talk about that.
Just, are we gonna hold back?
Hutchinson?
Yeah.
Okay,
Concerns.
so in our packet, and I'm glad Stephanie's here, because she talked with them, but so did I. Hutchinson's, it's got the
Yep.
door out there. So on their bill, which I can show everyone, there is a portion of the bill that they have not completed. It is not entered into the total. So we're paying the ones that they have, the work they've done, and then the work they haven't done is still outstanding. They're still waiting for some parts to, I know part is an opener, and then the other part that they're waiting for is, yeah, maybe some more,
But those are the bottom two things.
yeah, these are the bottom two.
They haven't
things
been
there.
done
So,
Probably doesn't know what they're waiting for.
so I guess that is up to you guys, but they have.
So Fred
completed that.
said he knows them and
We
you
work with
think they're
them.
good with them?
Yeah, we work with them on our houses, residential stuff.
seen.
They're a local company and I have no problem either way of whatever majority wants to do, but I don't think they will not come back and finish the work if they they'll do a good job.
And we haven't prepaid for anything, we're just paying for the work that they have, because they just can't finish the job. But
And in today's world with garage doors, that is not uncommon because that's the last thing that usually you drive around in any new construction, people are living in, they don't have garage doors because garage doors and parts are hard to come by.
That still comes to
What do you want to do?
the billing that we have, does that have for completed job or is that held out?
There's another $1,300 due when after this to complete the job.
So the 5,100 on the list is the work today?
It's completed.
Okay, so it's still holding up something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, support. motion.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Item 6, appearance of Dane County Sheriff, he's not here. 7, public comments, anybody in the audience that would like to speak? Yes, sir.
Hi,
Please state your
Bill
name and
Gibbons.
address.
With Painted Dolan, and I want to make a personal invitation for y'all to come to the open house later this month and you know, get all your questions answered about the magic that goes on up there. We've always had good luck with it as far as getting a nice crowd, and we'll feed everyone and get some tours, and so I hope y'all can come.
Is the asphalt plant working out there right now? Did they move the portal plant back in there?
Yes, it's there.
Okay.
It's
Are they
been
gonna
there
be,
for a while.
are they gonna be digging?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. They weren't the other day when I was there.
can I just ask on that note, I know, Fred, you're not able to attend, correct, right? And then Wayne, I got you, Kate, I've got you, Carl, are you gonna be able to make that? I just was trying to give a number to Brianna about the food. Are you,
I can't, this is the day after my knee operation.
okay,
I've got it on my calendar, so
Yeah, would you, 2 or 1? Are you gonna come alone or will you
just,
bring
just,
a friend?
no plus one, just me. I don't want to share the experience with anybody and have it diluted.
Okay. Okay.
You know, and if anyone, if you can't come and you'd like to get a tour sometime, just have Jennifer call me or Brian or somebody and
Okay.
we'll get you out there.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment?
I'm so sorry, Steve, behind you. Are you gonna go, Steve?
Yes.
Just 1?
2.
2, okay. Thank you, Steve.
Anybody else for public comment?
Did
You
you have
guys-
us
yeah,
on this
that's-
one? Oh, okay,
yeah,
I thought
you
you said
guys-
I.
Yeah, I know. Why don't you guys talk now since,
Well, I'm Debbie Tofty and I got my husband Don and my sister Diane. We're long residents of Oregon here, and I guess we're just trying to bring to the floor again that we are hoping that maybe you guys can consider us trying to build on our property another home. We only have 20 acres, so we don't match the one thing, but I was told that, you know, I mean, as years go on, you guys, we can possibly bring up, you know, give you guys more tax money, you know, if we can build. I know you don't like farmland being all eaten up and everything, and what we're proposing is we want to just keep it to 2 and have one of our kids possibly, you know, live in one of the houses and help us out as he gets older. You don't get any older.
now, this is your property right here, correct?
Corner of Lincoln and Glenway.
Where would you, do you have a spot where you put the house?
Well, I've always told them never put in the plot in the middle, always, we're talking the far west end.
You want to go and point it out?
Towards the fence line?
Yeah, towards, corners.
Towards this area. Right in that area, or along the fence.
So then another driveway, you'd think?
There would be.
Yeah, because right now we have totally like a driveway that comes here and we go up this
We got
way. or
Field Road
whatever.
up there right now, but
Yeah. But we don't know if we'd come all the way down this far. It depends on how we split it off with the kid.
Well, Arlen is on our plan commission, so you got the message here.
You got the message there that's interested in doing, have you talked to the village at all? They,
I had in the past, and they had nothing against it. They're actually the one that said, if you were to build, we have no problem with it at the time. That's been a few years ago. But they said, don't put it in the middle, go like towards the west end.
do check now, they've been changing. This is identified as the expansion area of the village. So they have a greater interest in this area.
So that's
The
gonna be
extraterritorial rights
next
that-
into village?
The extraterritorial rights are beyond you. If they say no. Yeah, the village is looking at,
So that would be one of the questions that would come forward.
How far are they gonna annex?
Sorry?
that's a good question.
Well, I have the
where I
property on
live.
the other side of Glenway. so-
You're in that area.
What?
You're in that area.
You're, okay,
Yeah, you are. I
okay.
mean, I don't have a map in front of me, but I know you're in that area.
Okay.
It's a red dotted line on the village's map, so, yeah, but, they have come in and talked to the office lots of times, and I've asked them to come since we're talking about our land use, our map, and, you know, because we don't always hear from them, or the plan commission doesn't, and the board doesn't always hear from everybody, so I wanted to make sure that you guys all got to hear.
It's good timing to come in, so.
Yes.
So you know where my house is on Lincoln Road, correct? I had to go to the village and get permission from the village to build my house on the other side of Tipperary Road.
So we could go to the village first,
So
Get their-
if they say no, then,
but they said yes the last time they were.
Right.
right, but they have changed some stuff, but I'm just saying, that's one of your steps to get approval from the
And then if we
village.
get approval from them, then we come back to you guys?
We can start.
Start, yeah.
Why would they do that?
They have identified a large area on the perimeter, some of it's a mile and a half outside the village limits. Some areas it's less, but they've identified
Some
that
is
this
2
is
miles.
slated, pardon?
Some is 2 miles. Some of it is 2 miles.
They
wanna grow.
Okay, I see that. Okay.
That's where I'm getting at. Is that because they want the property?
They want to have the streets and the sewers. They've planned it in the next 5 to 20 years as being part of the village. And so they want to be having land that's going to be easier to put in sewers, streets, sidewalks, gas, electric.
So we sell to developers and they can fill the whole thing for the village.
So anyway, so it's going to be, do they care that you create a lot that has a well and a septic? Or not? And if they don't,
I can't remember. Actually, I got his name at home. Who's that? If that changed at all, who you talked to there?
Yeah, it's Randy Gleish now.
yes.
Randy Gleish.
He lives right in the corner out here of Lincoln, and
I don't remember. the
if you
name.
see that little bank and then there's a sign there, that's where he lives, just right off of Lincoln. You're on the right.
Right
hand side.
across
The first street
from
that turns
Ulyss's.
right after you go down Lincoln Road here.
That's right across the street from Ulyss's house.
Oh. We all know where that is.
Right, everybody knows where that is. He's in the first house in that going by Bergamot. There's
On the
a-
right-hand side, that
Right-hand
side.
greenish colored.
Okay.
Yes,
You guys built that. on you.
I did. Yep, I built that house.
I
Correct.
know you.
And his last name again, how do you spell that?
Yeah, Gleish, Randy Gleish.
Gleish.
She's lower down.
GLYCH.
What is it?
GLYSCH.
GLYSCH.
This is the village's map that they've been talking about. If you can look at it, and it's hard to see, but there's a red dashed line.
Mhm.
That's the area that they've claimed, so to speak.
So you guys would be getting less tax money out of it.
So you guys have no say in that?
So his phone number is 291-0648.
Oh, 648.
What they're saying is if you could get approval from them, that would be,
Start.
Yeah, and that goes back to when I talked before, they wouldn't have a problem, it was way on the lot line for the far west. But we'll see what he says now.
But there's a new village administrator there now than before,
There's a new
and a
man
new
in
village
town.
president,
And a village planner.
and a new village planner. A lot of things have changed in the last 3 or 4 years. Actually, it changed like the last 2.
I heard rumors that all the townships of Dane County were gonna all be on the same page as Dane County as far as rules and regulations. You heard anything on that?
Jennifer, you heard
it's
anything?
actually the opposite. So some Dane County towns got to pull out of Dane County zoning. So it's not on the same page. You can choose now, whether you want to be in Dane County zoning or whether you don't. But unfortunately, these extraterritorial rights that the village has nothing to do with zoning. So
Anybody else for public comment?
I just have a quick question
Yes.
too. So they go through the village and they get it all, approved, or they say yes. So they come back here. What has changed here that would allow them to go ahead?
Do you want to answer that? He's on the plan commission. The plan commission has been looking at possibly getting more tax revenue here for the town. So that is a possibility, but I can't answer for them. I'm not on the plan.
I'm just saying, if they're gonna go through this whole rigmarole again.
But it's not gonna take long to get an answer from them, yes or no.
It's like, are we gonna come where they get approved again and then we get shot down here again?
One is, the first one is the village thing is not an approval. They say, oh, we don't care, or we do care.
Mhm.
So they're not going through the public hearing,
Right,
go in and get an answer.
okay,
Should get an answer. If you're coming here, we're preparing the comprehensive plan. You have, either you have splits right now,
We don't.
okay, then that, right now, that means no, right now. The comprehensive plan is underway. We are going to be, we are having a base plan, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. And then we're going to be talking about where we have transitional rural development areas that are designated as areas that can be developed or not.
So basically, they need to know from the town whether they can build or not before they go to the village and go through all that again. I mean, because this is where the hangup is, right here.
Not yet.
Okay.
Can I jump and say something quickly?
Please.
We have some new board members and it's been a long time getting this comprehensive land use thing going. And some of us are saying, what's the rush? Let's slow it down because we're all concerned about the tax base. So I'm hoping, as Kate flagging, that we'll get something on this map that allows for more development someplace. So it hasn't been decided yes or no yet.
So this isn't a process yet on the town. You're gonna get a lot faster answer from the village than you are from the town right now. So that's why I'd recommend you just make a phone call and see if they say yes or
Is that gonna go through the village board or just through Guy?
no. No.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
plan.
So it's a quick yes or no.
Okay.
But again, it's like, this is where the hangup was
It is. You're
2 or
right.
3 years ago.
You are,
And that's
yes.
why we're asking, it's like, okay, we're gonna
You
go
asked that
through
question.
all of this again.
Where does Dane County come involved then? If this, where are they in the?
They're pretty much following what we recommend.
Okay.
We think they'll follow what we recommend. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Thank you. Communication from Dane County Board, Jerry's not here, he didn't call me. 9, discussing and possible approval and recommendation from the Plan Commission. Presentation of the Town of Oregon Comprehensive Plan Draft Map dated June 8th, 2022. Arlen?
I think it's a timely discussion. We have, if you look at your map on here, this is a base plan.
You guys have extra
I
copies?
don't have where else.
You might want to just.
It is on page 13, and I apologize for you because page 13 is black and white because I'm cheap. So
You want to move down so you can see the.
I can put you can see it on here if you guys
You got
want
next one or
to.
not? You got an extra one?
I got notes on this one, that's,
Mine's black and white.
I'm sorry, does anyone want a colored map that you want me to print you?
I got a couple.
Everybody else has got one.
Okay.
Wayne's is the only one black and white.
Mine is 2, don't.
this is a base plan that has been approved. So, progress approved by the Plan Commission. What is not shown yet and is yet to be determined is we don't have the village of Brooklyn, their transition that they're looking at around the village where they want to be expanding into the town. We don't have that. We don't have rural development districts beyond the current subdivisions. That I think that is going to be the task of great interest to town residents, development and builders, any as to where it's going to be targeted to be having additional development. We've already got the issue with the village itself claiming, or they're taking their extraterritorial distance, extraterritorial border, and what it is that they're actually going to be doing in the next 5 to 20 years, and if they're going to be allowing unsewered private wells areas. And they may dictate, they may or may not dictate, say, you can be here, but you can't be there. Or they may be dictating a site. They don't want to be having developer come in to be obstructed with a pock-marked set of small parcels that they have to build streets around or service with streets. And so, and one cost that would come in. We have a lot of interest. And I'd be surprised if the rest of you have or have not been approached about having new developed land. I've been approached, I've been approached a number of times, and you're just being approached tonight. So what is the, or have you been,
Not directly.
okay, not directly, well, I've got a number of direct ones. So there's interest out there for having this, there's interest on the part of town as far as can we generate additional needed revenues by having more lots? Do we want to? And where do we want to? That is yet to be determined.
What happened to the blue areas? That
Blue
were
areas
on
are-
the other map?
If they're on the other maps, they're actually yellow.
Yep, they
They're not
remain,
yellow.
but they just changed colors. Yep, nothing was taken or given at this time.
Just change color. It's the same. So that's our rural development, are the pretty much the existing subdivisions and some of the large lots around these subdivisions. Otherwise, the rest of the town is still.
Harlan, is there any advantage to approving this at this point without feeding in rural development discussions?
Is there any advantage to it?
Yeah, I mean, my personal take on it is I sure would like to have more discussion about new construction in rural development areas. Because I think that's a huge priority to come to some decision and to feed into budget considerations.
On the one map.
Yeah,
Have it on one map. Yeah, I agree.
If we are going to delay doing the comprehensive plan, that's good. And wait until we have all of the public hearings, all the input that would take to be saying, these are the areas where we want to have development.
Right.
Then I'd say have it be an amendment to the comprehensive plan. I'm forgetting, the comprehensive plan has taken 5 years to get us this far. We're working on it that long.
Right.
And we're starting to move, and we're targeting having it done by the end of the year and then start the public hearing process. And and this is going to be affecting the finances of a lot of people or their financial plan as to what they want to, where we want to do it. It is going to affect the transfer development rights. As the more land we open up or identify as being that we will approve rural development in section such and such, then the transfer development rights, value of those are going to go down.
right. But the impact of TDRs is also not as great as the potential for rural development. Correct. So do you remember, I don't remember when it was, but Jennifer did a presentation about the tax levy and
Yes.
the net new construction. And if I remember right, the plan commission heard that, but I don't think the board. The board would have got a report from at the time it was Arlen Christensen. And I think Jennifer's presentation was probably an hour long, 45 minutes long, something like that. And full of detail and really interesting things. And it'd be great, I think it'd be great to have a joint plan commission and board meeting with that presentation in a new form. Before we get to this, before we get to your map and in preparation for talking about rural development.
Okay, that may be. See, Cliff Notes on the, anytime we have a new lot created, Jennifer, correct me if I'm wrong, it's going to be about a $2,000 increase in the potential tax revenue. Somewhere around that number.
I don't know, that. What do you,
I think he's got that 2,000 mixed up with the
I agree.
Impact fee.
impact fee, yeah,
Right.
that's what the $2,000.
No, this was not beyond the impact fee.
Are you
Really?
talking, so net new construction is a formula that the Department of Revenue generates based upon the new home. Now, I can't give you that because that's sort of a formula that the Department of Revenue, determines. So I don't know where you're coming up with $2,000
We went-
because I don't know that that's.
That's something that needs to be there. I did a calculation backwards from our tax levy to a number of tax unit. There was a formula at one time that it was possible to get a guesstimate. It was not an exact, but it was a guesstimate of what's the impact of every new lot, every new.
There's not an impact for a new lot though, and not new construction on the levy. It has to be new construction. So a lot is not calculated in the formula.
Okay,
And
It has to be a new home.
it's all assessment based, right?
Yes, so it's
So
how
the-
much the
so
home is valued.
You would have to really make some generalizations about average assessed value.
That's right.
Across the town, across the rural development
Right.
areas.
About the new
Which-
home,
the
the
new- the
cost of
net
a
new
new
home,
home, of the
right.
cost of it, building a new home.
Okay, I want to follow up on what Carl was talking before we get away from that. We've got new board members, we've got 2 new planning commission members.
Yes.
And the report that Arlen Christensen gave to the board was not very thorough for when Jennifer, I learned so much from when you gave that talk. So I think it's important that the planning commission, and I would like to refresh the course, hear all this before we decide whether we're going to put new development in there or not. So that's why I'd like to just wait on this until we have that. So at least give the new planning commission members a chance to learn all this that we've just learned.
and that's back to what you say. If this is going to be a protracted thing, I would say this gets approved without the rural development so that we can get a comprehensive plan done and then amend it if we have a policy for new new development areas.
I mean, we went this long, and if we're behind schedule, what's gonna be a couple of months if we was to schedule this meeting with the plan commission and the board, and everybody puts their input in, what's it gonna set back, a month, maybe 6 weeks?
I don't,
We're back this far, I don't know what that would add up.
Even with 6 months or a year, if we're.
I don't think it'd take that long.
I don't either, but I'm
I don't
saying, if
think so.
if we go way out and say that, because we're already, it's about 5 years past what we should have really.
well, that's when we start, that's when we started it.
It's supposed to be on 2020, it's every 10 years, is that correct?
Yes, it's every 10 years.
2000,
Yeah.
10, 20.
Yeah.
So we're only 2 years. Yeah. No, I think
We're 2 years behind when we should have had it done.
Right.
We started in
But as long as we
17.
started the process, we don't get penalized for nothing, we're still, we're working on it, okay.
So I'm not saying about the end of what my thought was, I'm not overly concerned about the schedule on it. It'd be great, I know people have talked about it, in the planning commission, on and on and on, and I feel for that situation, but I just don't think that moving ahead with this really gives us enough bang for the buck that moving ahead with rural development discussions would have.
We need the rural development discussion. We need that. I am concerned as to how long it's going to take because it's going to affect a lot of people. It will affect their actual or perceived value of their land.
Right.
And it's going to be having some feelings of winners and losers. And if we rush through that, or I don't want to rush through that, and that needs to be something that has as much of a consensus within this town as anything.
Right. I do think that with the, coming up on budget discussions, we're gonna feel the discussions about rural development and other ways of financing become a huge priority.
Yes,
And I think that'll motivate us to move pretty quickly.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
And I think it's also, we have on the transfer development rights, we also have that
Right.
as being a potential of, we've never had one. We've talked about it for over 20 years.
Right.
And that is also something that to kick that loose may take some help from the main office here to be once we have the TDR policy in place, to be going out and saying, hey, folks, we want you to sell these so we it's a benefit to the town if you do. And then that would also be getting to the folks that have them to sell, as well as the people who have the opportunity to develop now that that has shaken loose. If we just let loose a lot of development, transfer development, let's just go
Yeah.
down the tube.
We're not going off on a tangent about TDRs, but my concern there is that there's not a lot of historical success at the town, not our town, but other towns that have
Okay, you guys.
implemented TDRs.
This should be discussed in a plan commission meeting. Here's my recommendation. How much stuff is on the plan commission agenda for next month, this month?
We have 2 public hearings and Brian's standing coming.
So could we have a
Brian
joint,
Standing
Discuss our detailed land use.
And they're gonna talk
Map
about
that.
solar and commercial is what Brian Standing is gonna
so maybe
focus
the
in
next
on.
plan commission should be a joint meeting,
Yeah, I just wanna make mention.
and then
I-
this could all be brought forward
Right.
and everybody would hear it.
If we wait, just as to the point, if we pass it, because we talked about it before, when I think when members were trying to end their time and we wanted to wrap it up before new members start and we weren't able to get there, we can always amend our comp plan.
Right.
Problem is comprehensive plans required detailed notices. We always have to wait so many days. We have to send these notices, we have to send copies of the plan to all the surrounding municipalities. So if we do what you're suggesting, which you can absolutely do, there's going to be more costs involved in it, just so we're aware, because of all the notices and plans we have to send.
Good point.
So I think
just
we
want to make that known, so you can wait or you can pass it, but
let's put this on the agenda to have a joint meeting.
I
Okay.
don't think the joint meeting at the next meeting is very. good
yeah,
idea.
not that one, it's too
It's
busy.
already gonna be probably
Yeah.
3-4 hour long meeting
Can
without
we go-
this discussion.
Should we go off schedule,
Yeah,
like in between, and have it just
Yeah.
about, just one
Like a
agenda
separate
item?
one?
Here's
Could
what
be
it is.
September, maybe, if we could maybe look at September possibly.
Okay,
I think it's worth it. I think
yeah,
it's
I think we're
important
gonna
enough
have to,
talk
I think we
about.
need to do it then.
And September might be good because we could talk, it's kind of,
And-
we have to talk
right.
about the cemetery land rezone.
But
But
you know,
it-
Brian
it
Stanley's gonna be at the
needs
next
to be a
meeting.
separate-
Oh, yeah.
I don't-
a good place
yeah.
for you to ask your questions, good place to ask your questions.
Absolutely.
Right.
And then it'd help probably when we have a joint meeting.
And
Okay,
if it's a September meeting, that may
Yep.
also
So we'll put this off.
help the process along.
Yeah, I think so.
so at the September board meeting, how about we look at setting a date?
Everybody good with that?
Mhm.
Okay, item 10, discussing possible action, engineering review of Fishnet Road and Lincoln Road. Doug, do you want to step forward and
Sure,
give us the
I guess,
good, the bad, the ugly?
well, obviously, we reached out to, I think there must have been some calls or concerns with that, so I think, reached out and, our firm, we looked at it from a perspective of what criteria do you meet? There's a lot of outlines, you guys have the report, the MUTCD goes through it, but ultimately, everything comes down to if there's a safety concern and you feel that it can be fixed by it. There's just, you can do it always stop. You're not tied to any Dane County because it isn't a county road, it's town roads too. So your ultimate decision on that, I think we've made it as kind of a phased, hey, start with this. Because sometimes putting an always stopping can create more of an issue than not having it. I think, ultimate cost, if you can improve geometrics, that always helps, but where budgets and stuff sit on that. So we gave you the phased approach where you guys can decide to go all in right off the bat. Or, hey, maybe it's clearing up some of the right of way. I think there was a weight restriction sign that I thought maybe went up and down, but it was still there when we were back out there in June, so.
And it's that one part where you wrote, if you do pull up far enough, you can see clear as plenty of room. If you pull up far enough to Lincoln Road.
Right.
But I think people are scared to because the stop sign is so far back and the road curves.
Yeah, sometimes it's little tweaks can help it, and I don't, the numbers are very old. It's a lot busier during school. That's the
Right.
path I take to drop my kids off at RCI.
And then a lot depends on what, how tall the weeds get
Yeah.
on
Right.
that corner, because
Um,
when they're cut down, it's not quite as bad as when the weeds get taller.
So let me ask you this,
Or crops, yeah.
if we just move that stop sign a little more towards Lincoln Road, and even if we painted the white stop
A stopper.
light line, would you think that'd be a better option to try first, or would you think a three-way stop is better?
I personally would try to improve this current situation without a always stop. I think you have so much built in where they're coming from the west, I think you could see it. You know,
If you just
Have an
cleared
issue.
that one corner off.
yeah, I think some of the
See,
pictures
'cause
that we,
it's that lump that.
And they did clear it out some, a few years back.
I mean,
It's just-
the one thing you can throw in the bicycle usage, which is hard, you know, without actually having those traffic studies, but we all know they're there. You know, that slows up decision making. One thing that I personally observed, which is not an engineering observation, is people do not use their signals, so that slows the right, coming west, their right turns. You don't know it until the last minute.
So would everybody be comfortable if we just try to clean that corner up and change a couple things and then see what happens?
I think that would be good. What you just identified there is the drivers coming east, which is a bulk of the drivers on Lincoln Road coming from the east.
East going west.
East going west.
West. Some signal, some don't, most turn.
Right.
And there's enough scary times. Okay, you've got a picture of my mailbox there. On the right. And that, so I'm very familiar with this intersection. And the number of times that I'm coming from east, I am really anxious when I have somebody on Fish Hatchery Road. Are they going to whip out in front of me or not? Because I'm going to turn on my turn signal, but I'm going to go left and not right. And will that trigger then say, oh, turn signal, I'm out. So there's.
And I think what, from
A driver problem, let's not say lazy or that, but it's just a lot of people do not, are not signaling correctly, and there's a lot of assumptions. So doing something, a big white line, moving the stop sign, moving there and keeping an eye on what we can do to keep the vision open and very good start.
yeah, I think, I always say in situations where you have driver mentality already established, we try little things.
Yep.
And then if there are situations or close calls, you know, people, I'm sure you hear about it, document it, you know, keep a record of it, and then that would justify going to that all stop condition, because you have a little bit of that vertical curve, which makes the all stop coming from the west going east. Could be a situation where you have a rear end, so they're not paying attention.
And we paved that road. We did take part of that knoll off and moved it down some. But we can only go so far without having to dig everything.
Yeah, because we took, I think we took our traffic people took a cone out there and sat and took pictures and, you know, trying to get measurements, and I'll tell, it's everything's borderline on that intersection, so there's a lot of, you know, what you feel you need to do, but instead of jumping to that, always stop, try a couple other things, and maybe in 3 months you realize, hey, we got to revisit this, and at least then you have it that, hey, we went through this process.
Can we, you suggest, the suggestion was having a white stop line there. Is there any benefit to also having some lane edge markers? Because the two turn lanes are very wide and long. And I've also seen some pretty meandering where people are driving.
It's just, it's a wide intersection. It should have that problem.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
once
know
you
if
put lines, then you have the maintenance upkeep cost.
And I don't think,
As a town member, I think that,
I'm not so sure there's room enough to do it for a long enough span. You know, it's only wide from the stop sign, yeah, to the road.
yeah, because I mean, I think the stop sign probably needs to be where you can see the break in the pavement.
We'll see what we can do. Sorry,
I was just saying, just defining things, because it's ready made for sloppy.
We go to that?
Just one question. though.
Yes, sir.
So again, starting at Arlen's driveway and going west, yeah. It's gonna be a long, long time before Lincoln has any work done to it. It's in great shape, right? So that vertical curve is gonna be with us for a long time. Does it make any sense to get just an estimate on what it would take to do that small section?
To dig that out and dig that down and put rock in there, you're probably talking a couple $100,000.
Yeah, if it's town's doing it, yeah.
I think some lane markers seem good and maybe cut some vegetation.
Fred? Hey,
I'm happy.
okay. Thanks, Doug. Thanks for coming in and explaining that for us. We appreciate it.
So sorry,
Yep.
before you leave, Doug, could we actually skip down to number 13? Because it happens to be something that Doug looked at. It's another grant program that Montrose wanted us to possibly go in with on Judd Road. So I don't know if there's any questions anyone had for Doug. He's obviously super knowledgeable, so kind of skip
So
down here.
you have HISA dollars on this. Is that something Montrose threw out or? I don't know if it falls under HISA funding.
Okay, and that's what we don't know. Yeah.
There's funding, I think there's funding out there once the bill stuff gets all shuffled through. There's gonna be other money that frees up.
Do you have a picture of Judd?
I do not have a
Okay.
picture of Judge. I have a lot of pictures, but that I don't have. one.
Okay. I would, if you're going to talk on 13, I was in contact with the Jennifer from Montrose. And also to the DOT on this grant, which is a 90%. We would be on the hook for 10%. Montrose has approached us to see, would we be interested in doing something with them on the application for improving that corner. In talking to the state, Linda Richardson at the state, she was saying that, yes, the money's available, yes, it's due, the application is due August 15th. But do you have documented accidents at that corner? The chances of having a successful grant.
And that's where the HISA comes in. Yeah, that's where the HISA funding comes in. You gotta show, and not, like even the, I think there's 5 accidents that were took place on Lincoln and Fish wouldn't meet the criteria that you have enough over that. I think it was
And you said it was the last 5 years, were there accidents? And if we're familiar, I don't remember any, but if there have not been any, there's the chance of us getting a grant is nil.
I don't know of any.
Okay.
I've never.
Okay.
I took a look at
Along that line, she also, I
Harlan's
asked,
just, he said,
I actually took a look at the community maps that are posted online as well that show documented crashes in Dane County. And there weren't any at that intersection. So, I mean, I think that there is a slight issue there looking to the east, but it's gonna be the same thing as Doug was talking about with Lincoln and Fish Hatch, that you don't have crash history to successfully get that just an application through.
thank you.
And a lot of times, once you take that state dollars, you're doing state stamp, like widening shoulders, so people, you know, there's
With the bikes
with
there.
what's there, you're gonna, I mean, there's a potential utility locates, which all gets thrown on, it's, but 10% of utility locates could potentially add up. You know, depending if it's compatible or not.
It also is not the panic time for this August 15th. This HILSEP, HISEP is twice a year. So it's 15th of February and 15th of August. That these are up. So if we find that it has caused an accident, and it's not just an accident waiting to happen.
So you're talking the intersection of Sun Valley and Judd?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it
I
is.
mean, I think the issue there is to the east is the same vertical as we have on.
I think.
It's it's
See you guys.
traffic heading west.
Yeah, the stopping sight distance definitely doesn't meet the 45-mile-an-hour speed limit out there, to be sure. I would say that it's probably closer to
And
20.
we haven't had accidents. Our budget being as tight as it is.
So
I mean, I've had plenty of near misses there, but I haven't had an accident there yet.
near misses don't count.
I know.
So I thank you for looking up, because that was a call that didn't go through. I had to leave a message with Shirley Schmidt. So you confirm no accidents there. So chance of getting a grant, zero. Keep that in mind that it is a very serious blind spot from the east.
Well, I think depending on what happens with the bill.
But if you're in a regular car, if you're in a bus, maybe you got a better view.
Even in my SUV though, it's still a slight issue.
I drive it all the time. I don't think it's that bad.
I didn't drive it now, so. All right, well, we'll look at it in the future.
It's, I'd
Sounds
say,
good.
and anyway, Montrose is also dealing with it tonight. I passed on this information to their Jennifer, and I'm feeling that it's not going to move forward.
Sounds good.
I recommend that we do not try and go for August 15th application.
All right, again, thanks for coming in, Doug. Appreciate your advice.
Learning something new every day.
Item 11, discussing possible action on the 5566 Alpine Road driveway violation. I went down there twice and no luck. And the letter went out and no luck.
So no contact?
No, and you haven't heard nothing, Jennifer?
I've not heard anything, no.
And from what I understand, from what he told the Dane County Sheriff, he doesn't live in the town of Oregon, but he does. I think it's time we just tell our guys they can take it out.
Okay, what, to raise the question of, don't we have a minimum size culvert?
But there's more than one violation here, yes. It's only about,
Besides, I'm not getting a permit.
right, there's no permit. Second, he uses 2 plastic culverts that don't work. Third, there's cement things on the end that don't work. And 3, it's only about 8 foot wide. So it's like, it's not even nowhere near considered a driveway. So it's like, if he doesn't, I thought if he would have called me or if we could have met up, maybe I could have worked something out with him because it ain't a very busy road. But when you can't even call me when we've sent 2 letters, it's like the wake up call would be to take it out. That's my feeling.
Yep.
And we go down there at the Bobcat and do it.
Is it still in that condition right there? Or is it?
No, it's finished. It's finished. It's got cement on the sides. And it's got gravel. But the weeds are really growing up around it, so I think he thought maybe it would get hidden that way.
You guys are concerned with the plow trucks.
Yeah, the wing will
Well,
hit
you
that
can't
concrete.
put concrete in the right of way.
I'll be doing a lot of damage to the plow truck if they hit the wing on that concrete.
So, and it's like, the tubing isn't correct. It's, like I say, if he would have just contacted me, I would have tried to work with him. And maybe we could have got a variance and got some kind of driveway for him. When he came and take the time to call me and work it out,
Is there a way?
and he's
for him
had
to-
2 months.
Is there a way for him to do it the right way?
Well, he could if we wanted to get a variance.
Right.
Because the driveway is too close to his other driveway. Personally, it's only probably 15 feet from his other driveway.
Okay.
And
This is his second
this is
driveway.
the second driveway. And when I personally delivered the letter and gave it to his wife, she said, well, he didn't know the rules. And she said, we just put that in there for the LP tank, for the guy who delivers LP to walk across there. Is what she told me. So when he takes the hose, he can walk across there. That's what she told me. But it's like, I gave him that letter personally and that went to his wife. And then we've sent 2 letters from the town and he can't do nothing without even a phone call. And we did send the sheriff there and he argued with the sheriff. So it's like,
The guys have gone up there as well.
yeah, so my feeling is we just take Cecil out there and remove it. And it won't take him an hour to do it, and I don't think we'll charge him, we'll just remove it and haul it out of there.
That's a lot of work for a guy to carry all people's.
Well, and I think he did a lot of work, because I guarantee you, he poured all that by hand.
Oh, yeah.
If you look at this one picture, you can see where his other driveway is, it's over here.
That is.
But I know he mixed all that cement by hand, I don't know how far down the ground it goes, but it's interesting. So yeah, you can see it up there, I got black and white, but there's color. And I'm just guessing it's 15-20 feet from the other driveway. So we would have to have a motion on that to have it removed out.
I'll make a motion to remove the driveway culvert and 5566 Alpine Road.
A motion from Fred, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second from Kate, any further discussion? You're none, all in favor, so saying aye.
Aye.
Pose
So-
same sign, motion carries.
Would you like me to send him a letter and give a date that he can remove by? Okay.
No, we'll just go do it. I mean, it's too late now. And even if he wants to come back and do something, he's gotta get a variance anyway. So it's like,
Because it's the second driveway.
yeah, right. And it's not like it's a farm field driveway either, so. Okay, good. 12, discussion possible action on 1355 Fish Hatchery Road for the row of tree removal.
We talked about this last time and you guys approved $1,500. I don't,
Yes.
wait, but I don't know if that
It's all been
happened.
done. It's all taken care of.
Perfect. Okay.
Yep.
Here's a picture of the tree.
Yes, he was good with it. Yeah, it's all done.
Okay.
But Jeff had vacation, all his employees had COVID, so they're not even working this week yet. So I don't know when it'll be, but I told Jeff that we approved 1,500, the rest comes from the landowner. And I told the landowner that, and he accepted it, so Jeff and him are to work it out.
So where will I send $1,500 then?
Jeff.
Just to Jeff? Okay,
And he'll bill you when it's done.
okay, sounds good.
And this is the one on Fish Hatchery,
Yes, sir.
near the vet clinic.
Yes.
That big cottonwood tree.
It's a big oak.
It's got
That's a
this
big oak. Okay.
green X
I
on
think
it.
so, Ken.
I think so.
Okay,
It's been dead for a while.
yeah, now we can go to 14. Discuss all possible action, attorney review of Dane County Sheriff's Department contract and town ordinance regarding citations. This is an issue. Kate, I know you got information on this. Do you want to talk about it, or Jennifer? Or we? First of all, we gotta do something with a court situation.
Arlen, you
Yeah.
were gonna talk to, Arlen,
Yes,
you were gonna talk to Beth Cox.
Yes,
with
I
that
did.
Question that we had about the
did.
municipal court and if they enforce an ordinance.
correct.
What'd you get?
And it is, I'll give it to my note.
I didn't see it.
I've got notes here. You have. A couple of things. The Beth has not seen or has not heard any violate any citation from the town of Oregon since the village stopped policing the roads. Okay, nothing, zero. Anything that's been happening that Dane County caught speeders, it went directly to Dane County Court. Fine. If you are going to she thought that also the constable, if the constable writes a citation, somebody's vandalizing the picnic table in the park, that would still come to her right now. But with us having the constable position quite possibly being eliminated, I don't know if that's official.
It will be eliminated. We already
It's-
voted on it.
it's- Yes.
Okay, so that will be
What happened at
eliminated.
the end of the meeting?
She was under the impression that then everything would be citations by Dane County Sheriff. And that it was her assumption that everything would go to Dane County courts. That's her assumption. In reading our minutes and the thing from
Larry Buckland.
our attorney Beckler, that he's still talking about something is joint. Right. That we could still be doing things to the municipal court in cooperation with the Dane County Sheriff. Now so it's a possibility that's there. It's like she was assuming that it was all going to go to Dane County Court and that there was no municipal thing. So that needs to be clarified. Also, there was who's going to be the prosecutor. And Beckler also indicated that in their letter that they could be the prosecutor in that municipal court. So there's a number of little decisions here that are going to have to be made as to, are we going to continue with the municipal court? So it seems like Beckler says yes. Beth is saying this seems to be a thing that's going away and that, so she's got a feeling that it's all heading to Dane County no matter what. So that is not settled. If it's going to municipal court and possibly even the Dane County Court, we need to have this schedule of violations or what are we going to fine people for the schedule of offenses? If they're speeding, what's the fine? If they're vandalizing the picnic table, you know, what is that schedule of fines going to be? And that needs to be at the definitely at the municipal level and possibly at the county level as well. I think it's more the municipal, I think it's more the municipal level.
It's our account, it's our equipment, it's our.
Yeah, we would set
be
the,
honest.
we would set the violation schedule, or we would work with Beth Cox as if we were gonna go that route.
Yeah.
To have her help us set
Yeah,
that schedule.
so right now, so we've got this little mixed, I was getting mixed messages going through this, so it still seems like yes, we can still go to municipal court. Practically, maybe not. If Dane County is willing to use municipal court, fine. Otherwise, it's going to go to Dane County Court.
So I have just thought of something. What does Brooklyn do?
I believe Brooklyn uses Dane County because they used to have, they struggled a lot with having their own court. They could not even find a judge, really.
So you know what?
It was just so I think they sent everything, once they went to Dane County Sheriff's Department, even municipal violations. I will double check that, but I'm pretty positive. With it, when it's a municipal violation, and if we were at Dane County Court, they would just send us back after they take their fees, the portion that we would be owed from said fine.
I mean, that'd be the right way to go if it's gonna work. I mean, if we can do it, but that way.
If we do that, we have to make notice because Beth Cox is a municipal judge that's been elected. And like we know, any elected position, you have to give so much notice. And we would have to give notice by, I believe it's December, it would be this year. And if you don't, then you're gonna be not stopped, but you can't get out of it for 3 years because the judge appointment is for 3 years.
It is.
So this has to be a relatively fast decision. And then the issue I was talking to Arlen Kai about, maybe our town people do not see Beth Cox because we do not issue ordinance violations, but certainly with the school district, she deals a lot with kids in school.
That's right.
And it gives an opportunity for us to vote, or the voters to vote on her position. So you might want to just consider that in this, whether you would like to pull out of the joint court or whether you want to stay in.
Do you know if she's would want to continue?
No, she doesn't, she has given notice that
That's what I thought.
this is her final term.
Right.
So it'll be a new judge. Oh,
And the village does not want to work with us anymore either.
They have not said that they did tell us they wanted to kick us out till I said, really? And we don't cost you anything. And then we decided that there is a value in that whoever holds that position, whether it's Beth or next person, that they deal with the Oregon School District, and most of our population is in the Oregon School District, and there's some value in that. Whether you value that, we don't pay anything to Oregon courts unless we were to have something go there.
And we used to have municipality judge, but that's gone now.
No, it is. It's still there. She's still the town of Oregon.
That we
judge.
elected?
Yes, it's still there. That's what I
So it's only
said.
once every 3 years?
It's once every
Oh,
3 years.
okay,
So she'll be
okay.
on the April ballot of next year. It's just been a long time. But if we're not doing that, we have to pull out. We have to know this year relatively. quickly.
So we could, if we still did that, we could handle them court hearings here.
It would be at Oregon. at
Well, if the village doesn't want us no more, we could,
Then we have to go to Dane County.
you can't do it here.
We don't have a judge, and it would be very expensive and
if-
costly for
If
us. to
we have
set
an
that up.
elected judge,
It's joint. We have a joint electric judge. We have a joint judge. It's, yeah, that's how it's.
so what's the
set up.
village gonna do, do you know?
I asked him and he's not gotten back to me, so I'm going to assume that they're okay with it, because I said, we're really small. I mean, we only have 3 more meetings. You better let me know soon if you don't want us.
Yeah, I guess my answers. Questions answered fast here.
so there, we're not even sure if they're wanting to continue with municipal judge.
They are the ones who reached out and said that they wanted to like not do
You
it
wanna dig into it
anymore.
any
But
farther? or
then,
you want me to do it?
right, but then when we talked about some of the
Well,
values specific
I think
school
our
districts, they kind of backed out.
relationship.
Well, it sounds like she's done.
Yeah, I think.
Do you
she's
want to
done.
dig into farther and find something? You want me to do it? You want somebody else to do it? Or do you want to try to get things done?
But what I think as Jennifer says, we need to have something decided before people are signing election papers.
So I say, we gotta get everything, get our ducks in a row and decide what we're gonna do.
Correct.
Somebody's gotta do that legwork.
Okay, now, some of the legwork has been done by Beckler.
Great.
And I'd say we need to be talking to him on what some of this cooperative thing, we need to be finding out something from Dane Sheriff's Department, whether they're even going to be willing to do something cooperatively with municipal court.
I can reach out to, I'm so sorry, what's her name, the gal?
Jan?
Jan. I can reach out to Jan, and I think I have talked to her about the municipal court. And just to verify, I believe how it would go is any speeding ticket, if it were on our contract time, would still, all the proceeds would still go to Dane County. Whereas in the past, when it was Oregon, some of that would come back to us and help offset the fees we paid. But I believe that. So what we need to ask Jan is, does it matter to them if their officer were to write a municipal ordinance violation ticket, where that would go? And I can ask for that.
Or can it go to municipal court?
Okay, I can ask that question.
That would be, I think it'd be more direct question, will they go forward it to municipal court?
Okay.
And next month, we're gonna make a decision.
Because it does seem like if we can stay in the municipal court with the village, then that seems like an easier, better thing to do.
Do you
As
think
long
it
as they,
would
as long
be,
as they are agreeable.
would you like to have also, I can draft a letter and Wayne can sign something to the effect to Martin asking for some reassurance that that the village is not working on,
Eliminating?
yes,
But will the village take any county tickets?
they would be taking our ordinance tickets. They wouldn't be taking vehicle tickets. It would just be our ordinances. So, yeah.
So if there's if village is not going to be continuing municipal court, that's a question. I think that's a question definitely worth asking maybe the fastest. They're still doing it. How would we get staying with them?
Okay, so one to Jan and one to the village,
So it's.
and then put it on the agenda for next month.
Okay, thanks, Arlen.
I do have to say.
Before we go on with that,
Yes.
Larry Beckler didn't say a definite yes or a definite no, and from what I understand, that's kind of Larry. I don't know whether it's worth asking him, yes, is a contract okay? Because I don't feel comfortable having any of us get a contract from another township and comparing them, not being a lawyer, so we would like our lawyer to say, yeah, the contract's okay.
I'll call him and see what I can get out of it. And maybe I can ask him about the court system too. His thoughts.
Yeah, and he did, I can send you his email. I sent it to Arlen. Him and I had a little discussion about the court system as well.
And plus Larry has to write an ordinance before we can sign the contract.
And I think then we have to decide the court system, I think, before we do that ordinance.
Schedule probably the easiest part of this.
Sorry, we were talking about citation amounts, and I'm not finding it in this letter about the actual establishing the citation. I see something about the citation deposit. Maybe it's the same thing.
That's the same.
It's the same thing,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So is that an issue? It just seems like, would we just match, say, what the village has for citation amounts?
I think it's actually, so I have to go through, we have ordinances and our ordinance dictate when we can write tickets. And then in our ordinances, I think we have written in there what the citation amount is.
Oh, okay, all right.
Okay. 17, discussing possible approval of resolution 04-2022 to adopt the Dane County Natural Mitigation Plan. So we've been through this and now we just gotta sign it. Is that what I understand?
Well,
Or what do it?
what we approved last month, Dane County pulled back because of some legal language issues. So there's a new document that I don't think we have it in here.
Page 84.
Oh, it is, there it is. So it's essentially the same thing with a couple edits here and there. Because instead of adopting just our section of the plan, we're adopting the entire Dane County plan.
So is this the updated version here?
The one in the package.
That's the updated version. So we need to approve this updated version. Correct?
Correct.
I'll call for a motion to approve the updated version of the Dane County Natural Mitigation Plan.
So
Got a motion from Carl. Is there a second?
second.
Second from Arlen. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those same sign, motion carries. 16, discussing possible approval of ordinance 95 and ordinance establishing a code of ethics. Jennifer.
Okay, so we got ARPA funding, which was federal funding. Federal funding has certain requirements of how you spend it. So the Wisconsin Towns Association had their lawyers draft an ordinance and a policy that towns are supposed to adopt as a means to spend federal funds. Then just this morning, if anyone read the email, Wisconsin Towns Association basically said, yeah, we don't know what's going on. I don't often editorialize, but I must say this is extraordinarily frustrating. Basically, they changed the rules and nobody will get back to them. So now they're saying what we gave to for an ordinance and a policy, we don't know. Maybe you don't have to pass it. So I don't know.
So should we wait?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean,
But this
I
just
don't
came out
know.
today, so something else is gonna be coming. My guess is,
probably.
so I guess we just wait till next month.
It's there, there's no. It says there's two options. You could proceed or you could wait. That's what they said. So I mean, we have the money, so it's not like doing this will do anything. The money is in our bank account. And are they going to take us to court? Are they going to fine us? Because we don't, I'm not sure that the town of Oregon is going to be on the top of their list. We
Let's just
didn't
wait
get
a
that
month and
much
see what
money.
I mean, our recommendation, let's wait a month to see it.
That's really fine. A lot of papers, Fred, to kill a bunch of trees.
More paper, no more trees. 17, discussing possible approval resolution 05-2022 to adopt the procurement policy. ARPA.
That's the same thing.
That's the
So one
same
was
thing?
an ordinance and one was a resolution.
Oh, yeah. 18, discuss possible action on lift with Colin Dunn. I don't have a problem with it. It's pretty reasonable. Only thing I have is what they want to use it for to cut some trees down are not even in the right of way.
It's different. Okay, and so I think I assumed the trees that you're looking at were the same trees. The trees they'd like to cut down are actually on Alpine. And Arlen happened to be in here today when Abel was talking about it. So
The
the
trees on
lift
Alpine,
is actually for Alpine. They're apparently, I don't drive Alpine all that often, but apparently there's some overhang on Alpine. And they would like this because it's safer than if they get in the bucket. This actually stays so they go up. And they would like to clear this overhang because it hits semis and things. And then you don't want a shady road. You want the road to be high and dry. I'm saying this correctly and I'm.
so these
repeating other
pictures don't
people.
have nothing to do with renting the lift.
So the other pictures is a separate issue, right? The lift is for Alpine. They would like it for a week and it would be $795. And then I think Dunn would take it for. So, am I missing anything, Arlen? when you were in here?
That was the discussion. He was measuring to see if it was on the right of
This
way
is the-
or
Yeah.
not.
All
And
these
so
are
what is it?
Oh, that tree was the tree we talked about earlier, and that one was. That was the one,
Oh,
the fish hatchery. A fish, the alpine was the
I
overhang.
know they're
That
dead.
was-
Okay, that part is overhang, but where's the trunk?
The trunk was the fish hatchery road and the
No,
trunk
no,
was.
no, no. Fish hatchery, I understand. Alpine is what I don't
Oh,
understand.
the alpine, I don't know where the trunk is on alpine. I think
He
they were
had his
just,
measuring, he has measuring.
his measuring stick was for fish hatchery, not alpine.
Oh.
The overhang is on alpine, so I don't know where the trunk of the trees are from the overhang, but they're worried about the overhang that hangs on. Is that a thing? Is there an overhang on
Oh, sure.
alpine? Okay, so that was what this was for.
We have it more than just on Alpine, but
Yeah, I think so, and so I don't know if they were gonna go
We
more
got it on-
places.
we got on Sun Valley Parkway, we got it
I
on.
think he's
Judd
thinking
Road.
about, because we're potentially going to redo
Yeah,
Alpine next
I-
year,
yeah.
that we get those trees taken care of before.
I mean, it's relatively
Everybody goes Alpine.
inexpensive, so it ain't a big deal.
Just maxing out in a week.
I think that's what they wanted a week, yeah, and I don't know what week.
Those things are pretty cool around.
They are. So, somebody like to make a motion to approve that money for that.
I make a motion to approve the rent of a lift for a week.
Got a motion from Arlen, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second from Kate, any further discussion? Here none, all in favor, somebody saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Item 19, discussing possible action, remove of trees on Glenway and Union. Well, like I say, I brought it forward that the trees on Glenway, I know they're dead, but they're not in the right of way. I don't know what we do.
Those trees have been dead on Glenway Road
Forever.
for a long time.
Most of them are leaning towards
The field.
the farmer's field.
Yep.
But nothing over the road.
Well, that's one.
Like the very.
Just this
bend.
one. But it's like. I don't know, they're not on the right of way. That's what concerns me.
Okay, we had discussion on this before, and do we have a definite policy when we have something that is on both the right of way and the person's property? We don't
No
have a
such thing.
policy of
No
that.
such thing.
It'd be a good thing to have that. If the trees are representing a public safety thing and it's solely on the property owners, we have no authority to force them to take it down.
Correct.
Is my understanding.
And I don't know if you can.
Can
You
we-
be an engineer, I don't know if we can we write a policy that we can afford somebody to take a tree down that's not on the right of way?
When I lived in the village, they were able to tell me to take it down on the terrace.
Out of the right of way?
Yeah, it would have been on the inside from between the road and the sidewalk, which is their right of way.
That's the right of way.
They sent me a letter saying.
But I'm talking about if it's not in the right of way.
I
Can they
mean,
force it?
if they can tell me as a private owner to cut a tree down on their property, I think it could be
Yeah, but-
the other way. I mean, anything that's in your vertical plane, you have the right to do, whether it's good neighbor kind of thing, you know.
Well, okay, if you have whatever it is, if they're representing a hazard to the public way, I would be hoping that we could be encouraging the owners to take it down. Or as you say, we take a vertical buzzsaw and take our share of it off. I'm just looking at some kind of policy, what?
It's still Brian's.
Mhm.
Pardon?
I was curious who still owned that land. I didn't know Brian still owned it.
Sure Brian County still owns that land.
I'm just looking at some public safety. Are we going to have, should we have a policy, a dead tree policy for things that are both on or shared with the right of way and off of the right of way, but represent a potential public safety issue? Do we even want to tackle that?
Is that a question for our attorney?
It seems like it, doesn't it? It really does. I don't know what the legality of that
I
is.
think
I can
that-
ask the Wisconsin Towns Association,
Okay,
free
there you go.
attorney, how about we
There
start
you go,
there?
that first, But I don't think we have the right to tell any landowner that a tree that is on his piece of property or whatever it is on his piece of property, we don't have the right to tell him what he can and cannot do to it.
I'm sure we don't. Can we?
I don't think we want to mess with such policy,
Unless
Okay.
unless the overhang's an issue, I think.
even if the overhang's an issue. I don't think you can tell a landowner what he can and can't do with his piece of property. Those trees have been dead, they haven't done.
I do know if my neighbor's tree grows over my fence and it hits the tractor, I cut it down. I cut the limb.
Yep,
And I think you can do
you
that.
can do that, you can do that, correct.
So it
That-
could be,
that overhanging property.
it could be such a thing as this where it's overhanging, we could cut it. So if it does fall, it'll go that way and not, and we could do that. And if they wanted to do that, I wouldn't have a problem with that, and they could do that when they have that lift.
Well, that would,
That's probably a good
that's
first
kind of
step.
where I'm heading to.
But let's make sure we can do that first. So shoot that to the town association. 'Cause I don't want to do that until we know for sure. Okay, good. Fire and EMS, Oregon, the minutes are in here. Nothing really to report. Brooklyn, Fred,
Obviously, we got the email today that Oregon, Belleville and Brooklyn got an EMS grant, so that's good news. Other than that, I don't have anything to report, nothing really going on.
I put in your packet, which probably made it unbelievably long, and I probably could have done this. But in the packet are the financial audits for both Oregon and Brooklyn. I'm sure.
and Oregon's came out good. And so did Brooklyn. I went to the last Brooklyn meeting because Fred didn't make it and Mark didn't make it either, so. And they approved theirs. Anything on Belleville?
No meeting for Belleville.
Okay, 21, discussion possible action. Also loan to cover increase in fire and EMS 2023 budget.
So this is something that in the past, the town board borrowed from park funds. In talking with our accountant, unless our park funds are put into what are called enterprise accounts, we cannot do that type of loan. We talked about this last year. This would be, do we want to, we know, we've seen, because we've gone to the joint meeting, that there's at least probably a $45,000 increase. Would we want to go and borrow that and put that back on the levy for the capital expenses for the, well, at least for Oregon, I don't know, we haven't really seen anything from Belleville or Brooklyn yet on capital equipment. So this would just be, is this something you guys would like us to look into?
Excuse me.
It's strictly equipment.
Yes.
Correct.
Like I said, we
It's not an
typically have done that.
operational. It's not operational, it's all capital improvement.
But I think we have to.
Okay, so we have to look for, have Jennifer open discussion with potential lenders.
That's what I was wondering, if you'd like me to do that.
I think that would be prudent to do so.
Okay.
I think it would be prudent to do so.
Agreed.
Yeah, because Belleville, we will not know anything until the late September, October for both of their operating budgets when they have their meetings. And the same, I think Brooklyn, we're gonna find out budget next week, I do believe, that they're gonna start working on it at our meeting. So,
When is the joint Brooklyn meeting? Did they set a date?
Yes.
yes.
Is it August? No, I mean, not August, excuse me.
September.
Is it the second or third Wednesday of September? I think it's the second.
I think it's the second. Let me see if I got it on my calendar.
And that again is something that all the board members typically go to, that joint meeting.
It is the September 14th at 6:30.
14th.
Yep,
At the Brooklyn Fire Station.
yep, joint municipal meeting.
I will remind myself to send a calendar reminder tomorrow.
Okay. 22, emergency management report. Carl, you got anything new?
Nothing except the do-over.
Cemetery report, 23. I haven't not heard from Bob. Do you have any either?
So what,
Or have you?
no, yeah, what we need to do, because that land that I don't think we paid for that land from the Dickies, but that we got, and then we have to do a rezone on that land. to add that to our CSM.
We swapped land with him.
Yeah, and we have to do a rezone.
We do.
Yep, the county got back to Bob and said we have to do a rezone. So I think I have the rezone paperwork. It's on page 158. Bob has filled that all out. Part of what you signed tonight was the fees that we had to pay the county for that rezone. And so we will actually have that go through the
Okay. so
plan
we know.
commission and then come back to the town board and it will go. So I will probably ask if maybe Wayne, or if he can't, one of you can attend the county board meeting when that's going on up there.
But that won't be until it goes through the plan commission first. Right.
Yeah,
Through our plan commission.
gotta go through our plan commission, gotta go through our town board. And then
So will that go on this month's meeting?
it will go on next month. Because we have to notify the neighbors, so we still have to send letters.
Maybe September meeting then.
Yeah, September plan commission meeting. Mhm.
What is that notice time with the neighbors?
We want them to at least have 2 weeks.
That they have it in their possession.
Yes. And we already have 2, and we have Brian standing at the August meeting, so it's a lot. And if you want to see, it's on page 165 in your packet. So we have to take that strip that you see on that certified survey map, and we have to take that to RR1. That's what they're requiring us to do for cemetery.
Shouldn't be too difficult.
It's not, it's
Just
just
gotta
a
go through the legality
formality.
of it.
I mean, it's kind of good, you've said it before that we
Yep.
sort of started this project. I have not, though, Wayne, heard back from them on the easement. I don't know if you.
Bob
want me
Dick
to
hasn't got
send-
back on that?
No,
Okay, I'll call him.
Okay.
But he's signed, he's aware of the zone change. Zone change. Or he's not.
he will be, if he's not, the county has just gotten the paperwork.
Oh, okay.
So they will send it to us. We will also send him a letter when we're doing our
Okay,
our public hearing on it. He just hasn't returned that release of access easement.
okay.
So if you're able to follow up, that would be great.
Okay, 24, Park Committee, Steve?
Picnic table's been ordered. I understand one's already been shipped.
Can you come a little closer on Henry?
Sure. Picnic table's been ordered
Picnic table's been ordered.
for Candy Park and for Hillcrest. One's been shipped. We haven't received it yet. We have some tree issues at Candy Park. My understanding is the boys are going to be able to take care of it. As to when, they don't know. We have some tree issues at Town Park. I've asked for a quote from Arbor Systems, but I'm waiting for them to get through with their COVID situation before I meet with anybody. And hopefully have a quote by September. Hope to have the quote by our August meeting to be approved. That's all.
So, yeah. Thank you, Steve. 25, Plan Commission,
I think you pretty much got my,
pretty much all done?
I think we pretty much went through it. You don't want to repeat it again, do you?
Nope.
Okay.
26, is there anything from Anderson Farm Park, anybody? Nobody has nothing? Kurt's not coming. I really don't have nothing to report on Public Works. Park, Fred, you got anything? Anything new?
Nothing new, just a work session tomorrow night. If it goes well.
At 6:30?
6:30.
Next question. Petition that they're putting through at the torque, does that have any bearing on anything?
No, that's just the public, getting public signatures. It has nothing to do with us.
Senior Center report, Kate?
Just working on coming up with better plans for how we're going to pay our share, what is our fair share, gathering more and more information from different senior centers, different towns, how they're doing it in their area. And, you know, I'm trying to come up with a list and get a word, get something documented on it so I can hand it out when we get together with the other towns and start discussing, because we're thinking it might be easier for us to tell them what we want rather than for them to tell us. So it's gonna take a while, but we got a lot of wheels spinning.
So everybody realizes the contract ends in December of 23. So Kate is, thank you for working on that. And I know Jennifer's gonna put a lot of work into it too. Throwing up information, and I think it's time for things to change.
Right.
Our budget's tight. Thanks, Kate. Anything else?
Would you make a motion or I think that part of our contract is that we would want to put them on notice that we want to redo the contract, even though it's been verbalized. This is a formality by sending a letter, which is part of what our contract language would require.
So the letter here that you have is what you want to be approved.
Is that okay?
But
Yeah.
how far in advance though? Because usually
They want us to know now. Especially even at the joint meeting we're at the other night, they said the earlier the better. And the contract doesn't give a date of how far you have to do, but they would like to know sooner than later that we would be. I mean, a year it takes a while, so.
You don't want to include Rutland on this?
I included Rutland at the top. Rutland's part of our participating community. I was in the letter, I'm asking that we would like to include the town of Dunn and the village of Brooklyn, because the village of Brooklyn and the town of Dunn got out of the contract and they're just giving a flat fee. The town of Dunn has asked to come back in and the village has been reluctant to having them come back in. And I think as the township, we would like them to come back in because we need them, we need more participants. And the village is kind of leading and saying no.
What is the town of Rutland said in your meetings, Kate? Anything about?
But you know, they changed. Dina's not the representative now. It's, what is his name?
Mark Porter.
Yeah. And so he's just becoming abreast with it. And he hasn't said as much, but I have since talked to Dina and they also can't afford what it is right now, so.
Okay. So make a motion for me to sign this contract. This letter, I'm sorry, letter.
I make a motion that we sign the letter to the village about a new negotiate senior center agreement that ends December 31st, 2020.
Got a motion from Kate. Is there a second? Second from Carl. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, I'm saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carries. 31, assessor service report.
I don't have anything. I was not here for board review, but I think everything sounds like everything went.
It went well. Yep. 32, building inspection services. Got that in your packet.
Page 168, 13. There is a new house on, I think.
Sorry, Tom. Oh, that's right, Tom. That's my last one. Anyway,
Sorry.
33, update on American Rescue Plan.
So, not really anything. We got all of our money. At some point, we could start discussions about what we'd like to do with it. We've kind of been using it a little bit here and there. We're going to use it for the concrete. I got the Badger books for the election. We're going to use that money towards that. This system here has been used for it. But we have some more. I think we're just trying to get through some of our other things, but whenever you guys would like to have discussion about that, we have it.
Good. Board communications, elections, Tuesday, August 9th. Is there anything? 35, future agenda items. I guess the contract will be one. The decision for judge and contract for the police.
Yes.
Okay.
One. You want to start putting something together for the business statement?
I do want to, and I want to tackle the roles and responsibilities too. So I'd like to keep both of those as future.
I mean, if you want to start getting something together, you can start presenting it anytime. Anything else?
Okay, future equipment. We talk about, the guys have the wiggly butt, the in-loader, payloader, yeah, out at the torque. we're gonna keep that, or do you want to talk about that at another meeting?
I think we need to talk about that after we do our budget.
Okay.
When it comes to the equipment, I think we need to talk about it after we do our budget. Yes, Arlen?
Part of, just for discussion on the transition. The or the rural development districts where we want, that. should be,
Oh, sure.
Part of our discussion, especially if we're gonna be having a joint meeting, so that would probably be in September after our board meeting.
Sure. Okay, Jennifer, clerk's report, loan update.
So I just wanted to say there is in your packet on page 171, 170, 171, there is going to be a race in the town of Oregon. And it's a bicycle race. And the map of where they will be is on page 174.
Another one on A and D.
Yep, that's it.
One of our town roads.
Yep, it's all county road that they're gonna be on in our part.
Cool.
Yep.
When is that?
13th, right?
Yeah,
August
that's
13th, basically.
I think that's the Oregon Telethon 13. I don't think that's this though. You know when that bike thing is, Jennifer?
8/13. It's
8/13.
like taking place on 8/13, 2022.
You're right, Fred. Anything else on the loan update?
All the loans for this year have been paid, so we can start. Abel did talk to me today. He reached out to Payne and Dolan about the road work we're gonna do on Alpine next year. And they recommended that we start bidding in January. So,
Sounds good to me. Well, yeah, we should communicate that with Brooklyn, so we do it together.
yeah,
You think it's a portable plant.
Yeah.
The saw two strong building permit reports. July is 13, June had 8 or something like that. Are those for new homes or those for additions?
it's for, you could be putting an
Everything.
AC unit, you could be replacing a window, you could be really had some.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Yeah, everything, yep. And if you look on the
WH.
report itself, it will actually tell you
What's
what,
WH?
it's, I know it's, you can see under project, it will tell you re-roof, barn,
Plumbing,
heat
plumbing.
pump, windows, deck, shed, shelter.
So these are mostly remodelings in
Yeah.
addition.
Yeah, I
So-
thought there was one for a new house, but there wasn't. It doesn't look like.
Okay, so.
Should have been
and
one
they-
probably.
This has no impact on our levy.
No, unless it's a new home, it will,
None of those.
but
There was, there's gotta be one from, I'm assuming, May for Storytown Road, because there's a new house, new foundation on Storytown Road.
yeah, I think it was a. few
So
months ago.
that's it, but there was 2 other houses built on Storytown Road this year. Last year, this year, so we'll have to a little bit on that. but
Yeah.
That's about it.
Okay, item 37.
So.
Oh, you done? Not done? Go ahead.
No, just, I have, I'm gonna be having a knee replacement, the 17th
Okay,
this month. So I'll be hobbling in for the board meeting in September, and the planning commission is the night before. So
we'll need that one.
we'll,
You'll be at the meeting. on Monday.
we'll hobble for a month.
Okay, now we're back to item 37.
Move again.
Then motion from Fred to adjourn at 8:05. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second from Carl. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Both same sign, motion carries.
We're putting it in order, so it looks like.
The rest of home property was sold.
So who bought that?
One,
Who bought that? Was it the,
Brad Willie.
yeah, okay, yep. So he also bought the Schillingstead property.
Huh?
He bought the Schillingstead property,
That little 16 acres.
yes.
Who did?
And that's who bought homes? And who is that? I mean, what do you know about him?